We're just about to have rehearsal anyway. There are days in those gray skies. Hey, follow Spot! This isn't a cabaret. Could you tone it down with some color? Cabaret?
Oh, sure, Ray, but what does cabaret lighting look like?
Oh, forget it. Take a 5-minute break.
Moon Podcast Escalation! My name is Jordan D. White.
My name is Chris Sims, and this is Sailor Business. It's the podcast where we sit down with a friend each and every week and watch an episode of the classic 1992 Sailor Moon anime, break it down, and talk about why it is that we love it so much. And this week is one I have been waiting for a long time. It is a Sailor Mars Spotlight episode. It's episode number 54. The school festival is for me? Question mark?
Does that mean it's
Queen Ray's song?
Does that mean it's finally an episode of the Moon of the Doom Tree that you like?
Look, I liked the first one,
and I thought the second one was good too. The movie auditions.
I will say, when I watched this episode last night, it was not as good as I remembered.
Oh. What if you really don't like Sailor Moon anymore? What if that's what's really happening?
I hope that's not the case, but I mean, I'm honestly a little worried about that because as we've talked about before, I've only ever seen what up through half of Sailor Moon are.
It gets better. I promise.
You gotta make it to stars. You gotta.
You at least gotta make it to S because it's so good.
You are already hearing the voice of our very special guest this week, returning from last week's episode, Christy Murdaugh. Welcome back to the show. It is so great to have you.
Hey, thank you for having me.
I was honestly thinking about introducing you as the voice of Sailor Jupiter and really confusing new listeners.
Right? They'd be like, that is not even remotely correct.
In case you missed last week's episode, you should definitely go back and listen to it. We talked to Christy about her history with Sailor Moon and her role in the Negavision fan dub of Sailor Moon, where she did in fact play Sailor Jupiter and the creepy psychic girl from the Haunted Beach Party episode.
I did. That was my childhood right there.
That is good stuff. But we have already discussed that. Jordan, what do we have on the docket for today?
Well, we do have some questions on Twitter. First, before we even do that, I do want to mention that our last questions for Twitter, there's been intense discussion about what Zords the Sailor Scouts would have. So I'm really happy to have helped inspire that, even though I had nothing to say, other than obviously she has a rabbit one. Obviously, come on. So just wanted to mention that. Shout out to everybody. But
did anybody agree with me that she would have a cat?
Not that I saw. No.
Ugh. Betrayal. Everywhere I go, people betray me.
Luna has a cat. Don't worry about it.
Luna wouldn't have a Zord.
Why not?
Alpha doesn't have a Zord.
Yeah, but Luna can operate computers.
And sidekicks have Zords.
Luna can operate computers, so she should.
Alpha's a robot. Alpha operates computers. Alpha's in the command center.
All right, you're probably right. Luna doesn't get a Zord.
No, Luna does not get a Zord. That is ridiculous, and I am upset with you for even suggesting it.
When she has her spin-off series, she gets a Zord.
So what else do we have? Before I walk out of the show.
Let's see. Let me try to catch up to where we were last time.
We might be running low on questions.
Hey, Chris, who is a worse hero/boyfriend? Did we do this one? Mamoru or Skeleton Man from Tarot?
Oh, man. That's a tough one.
Steve Flynn asks this one.
If you're not familiar with Tarot, Witch of the Black Rose...
probably for the best.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Yeah. It is a series that the most widely read and popular thing I've ever written has been just me telling people what happened in this one comic.
It was pretty funny, though.
The Skeleton Man is the main character's boyfriend, and he has the power to see and communicate with and punch ghosts. And there is an issue where he is investigating a string of murders committed by ghosts, and he has to stop because the bad guys decide to stop telling him the home addresses of the people they're going to attack. There is no further investigation. There's just oh, well, I guess there's literally nothing I can do now, and he is the worst superhero ever.
So it sounds like he's definitely a worse hero than Mamoru.
Yes,
But is he a worse boyfriend?
To Taro's credit, to Jim Ballin's credit, the Skeleton Man is an interesting inversion of the typical hero love interest relationship that you see in comics, where he is a man who is constantly in danger and imperiled and losing his clothes. To be entirely fair, I think it's on purpose.
Oh, yeah. I would imagine
he's
so.
a better love interest. He's a worse hero.
Okay. So Mamoru comes on top at least for one of them.
At least for one. Now, Christy, I think we talked about it a little bit last time. You are like me in that you have no time for Mamoru, right?
Yeah, no time. 0 time. I really just wish he was not in the show. I think the show would be better without the miracle romance. Like, if we could just cut that part out, it'd be a great show.
Agreed. I mean, I'm not quite at the extreme that my girlfriend is, where Mamoru turned her off the entire concept of heterosexuality.
Right? That's pretty intense. And I will say, throughout the show, I've watched most of the show, he gets better.
Yeah.
But by gets better, I mean they just stopped putting him in the show very much.
He's pretty bad up through the end of R, which is all I've
He
seen.
does legitimately get kinder.
Yeah.
He kind of has to. He's such a jerk. But yeah, I'm glad that you are on the same page as me with that.
Well, he's not in this episode, so we don't need to bag on him ahead of time. I don't think he's in this at all.
He's not in this at all.
Yeah. We actually got 3 versus questions right in a row, because the next question from Christy the Pink is, who would win in a flute? What? That's you! Yeah, that is you!
It is me! Yeah, I know. My husband and I were talking about it while we were watching the show.
Well, then you should ask this question.
Who would win in a flute off? The Green Ranger versus Alan?
Well, obviously, it would have to be the Green Ranger, because the White Ranger doesn't have a flute knife.
I don't remember. I haven't watched
He
Power
has
Rangers.
Saba the talking sword, obviously.
I haven't watched Power Rangers since I was little.
Yeah, it's been a while.
The only reason I even remember Tommy is because I had like a kindergarten crush on him.
Okay, it's been a while for me as well. What does his flute do? Does it summon his Zord? Is that what
Dragon Zord.
Yeah, it summons the Dragon Zord.
Okay.
So could a Cardigan beat a Dragon Zord? Probably not.
No. The Dragon Zord is 50 feet tall, and it's a robot dragon. So here's the thing: just in a flute off, right? That was your initial
Yeah, just
question?
a flute off, though. Just a flute off.
Okay, Alan's flute sounds like a flute. He only knows one song, but it sounds like a flute.
Well, yes, Alan knows one song, but Japanese Alan plays a couple.
He has like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But Seijiro,
Yeah.
is that his name? Seijiro?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Tommy's dragon dagger is kind of shaped like a flute, but has the sound of a brass instrument. It is clearly horns when he plays it.
You're right. I haven't even thought about what it sounds like until now, and I'm like, that's definitely horns.
What's his melody?
It goes ba 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 ba. So it's very short and repetitive.
Okay.
If we're talking about the effects, I would say yes, Dragon Zord beats Cardigan every time. But in a flute off, I think you have to give it to Seijiro.
But I do feel like the horns really do add something, though. It's very exciting. It's like marching into battle, you know? It depends on the context of the flute off.
Yeah. Well,
Are we trying to like seduce women, or are we like trying to summon our army?
you know what? I would slightly disagree, only in the sense that if it's called a flute off, the flute will win over the brass instrument. Period.
That's true. That is true. Good point.
You can't win a flute off with a trumpet.
With a horn.
Straight up. Here's another versus. Antonio T. Strange asks, who would win in a fight? Boxy or Rocky?
I like that I banned crossover questions.
Nobody's
We're all
listening
rebelling now.
Yeah, nobody
I put an
cares.
official ban on crossover questions, and now it's just like who would win in a fight questions.
I mean, so obviously we're talking about Rocky modern day, right? So, no.
Wait, so are we talking about
No.
like 60-year-old Rocky?
No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
I would assume it's in his prime Rocky.
Here's my question.
Rocky IV Rocky.
Okay, so the Rocky that ended communism.
Yes.
The Rocky that brought down the Soviet Union by punching it.
Yep.
Here's my question. In this scenario, is Rocky Balboa a reincarnated moon princess?
I mean, only if he is in the movies.
Okay, then no.
Okay.
Then
I've only seen the one movie, so I couldn't say. I only saw Rocky 4.
Rocky 4?
Yes.
Wait, you've only seen Rocky 4? The one Rocky movie you've seen is Rocky 4.
Yeah, the one that has the summary of all the other ones in it, so I'm fine.
Okay, Jordan. Chrissy, I'm sorry. I need to talk to Jordan for a minute. We need to sidebar.
I'll allow it. Go ahead.
Yeah, what's up? Okay.
Jordan,
Yeah.
Okay, look. Rocky 4 is great, right?
Well, okay, sure. Let's say yes.
Rocky 4 has a literal James Brown music video in it.
Yep, it does.
It has what I assume is a gross misrepresentation of Soviet technology circa 1986.
It has a robot servant / wife.
Robot. But you know that Rocky 1 is a legitimately good movie, right?
Won Best Picture, I think.
Yes. It's legitimately good. You know that Rocky 4 is kind of the worst of the first four. You know they.
I was going to say of the first four,
right?
No,
yeah,
I didn't.
5 is terrible.
Actually,
6
no,
is
really.
okay.
See, a lot of people have told me that they liked 4 better than 2 or 3. Is that not true?
I think the first one is legitimately great. Like there is a scene in the first one that makes me cry, like legit. I feel like 2 is 2 might be the weakest, but I like 3 a lot, and I think 4 is more fun. 4 is the most fun of the movies. 5 sucks. 6 was unnecessary.
But was it good though? Did you see it?
I did see it. It's okay.
You going to see Creed?
I might. I mean, I probably won't head out to the theater to thank you for joining us
For
our
Rocky Business.
Rocky Business. I might see it. Like the trailer for Creed is really good, and I do like Michael B. Jordan.
If you want me to keep fighting, then you got to keep fighting.
Yeah, like I do like the idea of Apollo Creed like having a legacy character. Anyway, you can see Rocky 1. It's really good.
I probably should. Anyway, so that doesn't. Not all of that does not answer the question. Can Rocky beat Boxy?
Boxy, of course, because Rocky can't do Moon Princess Halation.
Christy, agreed?
Yeah, I mean, how else could he can't just like punch him into being refreshed?
Maybe he can. I don't know.
I don't know. Does he have a refreshing punch?
I don't. You know what? I couldn't answer that because Rocky, for some reason, doesn't call out the names of his punches when he does them.
What? No,
it's weird, right?
I mean, he kind of does that in Rocky 4.
Now I really want to see. Forget Rocky 1. I want to see the Rocky anime. Is what I want to see now. Let's see what else we've got. Here's not a crossover question. What is your favorite bit of weird Sailor Moon merchandise?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I've got some.
Oh, let's hear it.
Christy, please share.
For Sailor Moon Crystal, they've been releasing some weird stuff. So they released Sailor Moon tampons.
They did.
And pads. They did. They totally did. I actually almost bought them for my friend as a Christmas present. This is a joke.
I wish you had.
But I decided I actually liked her a little more than that, so I didn't do it. But they've got like the symbols and stuff printed on them. At least it's not their faces, because that would be really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But they have like the symbols and stuff printed on it. But they also make Sailor Moon wedding registration forms in Japan.
I saw those.
But they don't even have like romantic art on them. They just have like Usagi on them. Like, no, Mamoru. I mean, cool, but it's a little weird.
Yeah, it should probably have them both at the very least.
Like, and I would think it's not like they don't have romantic art that exists. Strange.
Yeah, I mean, that probably trumps everything. I can't imagine a weirder bit of Sailor Moon merchandise. I really can't. I mean, I have the Sailor Moon gummies that I haven't eaten yet because I just like the package and want to have it just sit there.
It really is like, I guess, the most merchandisable show I'd ever seen. Like just the amount of merchandise that Japan pumps out for the show, especially since the 20th anniversary, has just been insane. It's been insane. It seems like there's something new coming out every day.
Yeah, I mean, most of my Sailor Moon merchandise is action figures. Like I've got the SH Figure Arts, and I've got a couple of toys. Like the weirdest things that I have would be, custom, like the little laser etched wood carving that Aiden gave me. But that's weird and sweet and delightful.
I'm trying to Google weird Sailor Moon merchandise, and I found a link to Pinterest, and Pinterest is being a son of a bitch and trying to make me sign up for things and won't let me look at it. So I'm mad.
No.
Unnecessary swearing. Jordan.
They have these, they're not really weird. They're kind of weird to people. I'll send you guys the link to these. So I saw these a while ago. They're Sailor Moon Crystal keychains, and they're supposed to be like, I guess, pinned up by their shirts, but they look like they are pinned up by their underwear. So it looks like they're like Sailor Moon wedgie keychains.
I'm also looking at, I just went to SailorMoonNews.com merchandise section, and they have these new dolls that are creepy, and I don't like them.
Oh, I am actually looking at these keychains right now, and you are exactly right. Like, especially the Ami.
Yeah, Ami looks like she just got major wedgie.
Send me the link to that.
Sorry. Like, Ami especially. Like, I actually kind of want the Jupiter one because she just looks so feisty. It's cute, but...
Oh my god!
Ami... right?
What? Yeah, that she's getting a major wedgie, and she's very distressed by it.
Right?
Yeah, but like, if anybody out there has any weird Sailor Moon merchandise that they feel like we should see, please send it either to Sailor Business on Twitter or Sailor Business Podcast at gmail.com.
Look at the creepy dolls. They're called Pulip.
Oh yeah, those freak me out. What's wrong with their faces?
Like, they have giant heads that are just creepy.
Yeah, that's the kind of doll I would have to put a sheet over at night because I'm convinced it's going to wake up and kill me.
Yeah,
I don't think they're that bad.
No, they're creepy.
Are you're looking at it and you're fine with it? I am
looking at them. I think you guys are exaggerating just a little bit.
They're super weird. Oh yeah, well here's the Rini one.
Oh no.
And literally the headline is, "It's the creepiest yet."
All right, fair enough. I think if you really want to get into it,
sure.
I think the weirdest piece of the Rini one is super creepy.
Oh no.
Her head is way too big and oddly proportioned.
Her eyes are so far down on her head. They're like
really
in the bottom third of her head, which is not right. Oh, this is awesome Luna purse.
Maybe, like, legitimately, if you stop to think about it, the weirdest piece of Sailor Moon merchandise that I have seen and want really badly is that they made a high-end action figure of the 15 minutes where Zoisite was dressed as Sailor Moon.
Yeah, I actually,
like the Zoisite Sailor Moon figure. No, like, I love that they did it. I want one so bad.
I wish that it wasn't like a limited release. Like, I actually really wanted it too.
Yeah.
Well, we found some creepy stuff, so there you go. The next one is one that I'm sure Chris is just going to say you are not answering that, because here's the question from Noah Chevalier. Who in Star Trek The Next Generation would each Sailor Scout be? Who in Brooklyn Nine-Nine? Parks and Recreation? He just lined up 3 shows and wants us to line everybody up for all of them.
Well, look, as we have already discussed, the cast of Brooklyn Nine-Nine lines up with the Negaverse.
Did we talk about that? I don't remember.
Yeah, because when Karen Healy was on, we talked about how Gina from Brooklyn Nine-Nine is Zoisite.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
100% Zoisite.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, but like, I don't know, Next Generation?
I'm not doing it. I put a ban. I put out an official ban.
Yeah, but that's what people want to know. That's what the people are interested in. The next one is, well, let's see if you're going to keep your ban up when you hear this. Dominic Bowers-Mason says, in the Sailor Moon G1 Transformers crossover, how long until Usagi and Optimus Prime are, by the power of friendship, BFFs?
I feel like that just would happen very quickly.
Oh, you answered that question, do you? That question that is banned?
You know what? Banned. And you're banned?
What?
You're banned. You're banned from the show.
I don't like this. Guys, Antonio T. Strange says, if Steven Universe meets Sailor Moon...
No. Ban.
Who wins? Ban. Who wins ban. In an eating contest?
Ban.
No, you won't answer that. What?
On the topic, really fast, of Steven Universe.
Yeah.
Can I just thank you guys for recommending Steven Universe? Because the only way my husband will watch anything with me, apparently, is if a podcast recommends it. My recommendation doesn't work. So it's because of you guys that he watches Sailor Moon. One day he just sent me a text message, is like, "Can we watch Sailor Moon tonight?" I'm like, "What?" What? And then he showed me this podcast. But then you guys started talking about Steven Universe, and he got into that too. So thank you. Now, if I could just send you like a list of endorsements that you could just like whisper into the microphone. Appreciate it.
Oh. Here's okay. Here. Oh my God. Wait, I just keep seeing great questions. Everything is so wonderful. I'm going to save this one for last, but here's a ridiculous one. If Serena went to Arby's, what would she order? Would she share? Also, does Luna like Purina for cats? These are not crossover questions, so I think we can answer these.
You know what? I'm still going to ban it.
What?
I'm still banning.
Arby's is not a crossover. She just goes to Arby's, and I think obviously she gets the like. There's no Arby's in New York, but when they're in New York City, but when I was upstate, they definitely would constantly be having these like 5 sandwiches for $5 deals, and she would obviously get that 5 roast beef sandwiches for $5, and she would wolf them all down.
You know what, Jordan? I'm going to let you answer. Like, you can answer this one to your heart's content. I'll just step aside. You can have it.
Oh, man. Last question I want to do. One Mo Thing says, I get confused about all the versions of Sailor Moon. I feel like I'm missing something. Can you help? Yes, we can.
Okay. The main thing that we talk about on this show is the anime, which is ran, 1992 to 1997? Is that right?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, sounds right.
But as far as different versions, I guess the other primary one would be the manga by Naoko Takeuchi that ran for 12 volumes that you can win in a contest that we are having here on the Sailor Business Podcast.
I mean, there's at least 5 versions that I can think of.
Okay, so we've got the anime.
Yeah, the original anime.
The manga. The live-action tokusatsu show, which is called Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon.
Yep.
PGSM is how we usually refer to that, which is a live-action version of the first season that only ran for 1 year. It was, I think, 2003. We are eventually going to... I'm trying to talk Jordan into doing a special episode on that, probably after we finish the R, just to go back and see all the 4 Kings of Heaven again and revisit with Queen Beryl.
Because you miss them?
I do miss them.
I liked it.
I miss Jedi and Zoocyte. I miss Maxfield Stanton.
But they're going to be
much.
so different in that version.
They're not going to be that different. There's also the musicals,
right,
which are what we watched for the Halloween special, which were long running. There was a 5-year hiatus, but like they started in 1996 and ran to 2003, and then, or was it even later? Was it like 2006 and they started again in 2011?
Something like that.
And
you're forgetting one.
And Crystal,
right?
Obviously,
which is a new version, which is based on the manga more directly than the original anime, and it's still being produced. Did they announce it's got a second season coming or a third season or something?
They did announce that they're going to do the next storylines of the Sailor Moon S storyline, but they haven't said when it comes out. So
okay.
But there was an official announcement. It was pretty recent.
Yeah, and Crystal is a new show that is, like Jordan said, more heavily based on the manga, and we are not watching it.
Yeah, we're not.
Because we tried. We're trying.
I watched every episode of it.
Did you really?
The whole darn thing. I did. Even when I was like, please don't make me watch this anymore.
Does it ever come back around to being worth it?
No.
Oh.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Then.
Not at all. Like the entire show, I was just like groaning and angry at it. So, no, not at all.
And do you like the manga?
You know, I do, but here's the problem with Crystal. They cut out all the humor.
Oh.
Or when they try to do the humor, the way that they draw it with that weird art style, it's not a very expressive art style, and so the humor doesn't translate, so it just feels uncomfortable.
Sure.
Now, there are also, confusing matters a little more, there are 3 different versions of the anime that we're talking about. Because
that's true. Good point.
The original Japanese audio, there's the 90s dub, which we usually call the original dub or the deep dub, and there's the new dub, which is the Viz Media dub that's on the current DVDs. And on top of that, there's also, if we're talking about the manga, there's also Codename Sailor V, which is a prequel to the manga that's kind of a prototype that's all about Minako as Sailor Venus. So look, if you are feeling confused...
And there's anime
movies.
A reason. There's anime movies that are named after the seasons, and they sort of correspond with those seasons, but they don't really fit easily.
Also, the seasons they just have names, so it's not like season 1, season 2.
Right.
So it sounds like they could be different series if you don't actually know about the show.
Yeah, like season 2 of Sailor Moon, where we are now, it's Sailor Moon season 2, but it's called Sailor Moon R.
Yeah.
And then the next season is Sailor Moon S. The next season after that is not Sailor Moon T, it's Sailor Moon Super S. And then there's Sailor Moon Stars?
Totally sensible. No, not really.
If you are confused, then that is why. But generally, the thing that we are talking about most of the time is going to be the original 1992 anime that is loosely based on the manga.
Yes. One last thing I want to mention.
Loosely, but like it deviates a little bit, I guess.
One last thing I want to mention before we move away from Twitter into the episode, and that is a tweet that was not tweeted at us, but originally, but someone linked us to it, and that I'm sending to you both now. It is one of the best tweets in the universe. It's a picture from presumably a bookstore or a manga store, in which a young person has written a little review of Sailor Moon and written it and put it up under the books. And it says, Sailor Moon Great manga because it shows how an ordinary girl can save the universe. From Emily,
Aww.
age 9.5. It's pretty great.
I was at my MMA gym just a couple of days ago, and someone in the kids class had left a copy of Sailor Moon Volume 1 like on a table, like right near the entrance. And I was like, wait, did I bring Sailor Moon Volume 1 here? Have I been punched that hard that I forgot I brought Sailor Moon?
Kids actually are liking Sailor Moon, which is great.
Which is great, yeah.
It's really surreal to me. I do a lot of conventions with my webcomic, and I'll have people that, kids come up to me. They're like 10 or 11. They're like my age when I got into the Sailor Moon, and they totally love it. They'll talk to me about my Sailor Moon prints, and I'm just like, what world do I live in? But it's awesome. It's great. I'm so glad that a whole new generation is getting into it. It's really cool.
Well, on that subject, we did get a fan letter at our email address, sailormoonpodcast@gmail, or sailorbusinesspodcast at gmail.com. I'm sure someone has Sailor Moon podcast already, so cut that out. And it is from Dan Casino, who wrote in to let us know that his kindergartner listens to our podcast every morning on the way to school. We do not advise that. We do not advise or endorse that. And according to Dan, the swears aren't really a problem. He's been hearing podcasts in the car since he was a baby, and as he puts it, radio people say bad words sometimes. So that is true. We are radio people, and we do say bad words sometimes. So thank you for writing in, Dan. Now, that's the end of the episode, right?
We haven't started the episode. We're a half hour in, and we haven't started.
Alrighty, well let's get into it. We're going to be watching Sailor Moon episode 54, Sailor Moon R episode 54. See, there we go again. The school festival is for me, Queen Ray's song, aka
Ray's Day in the Spotlight.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
as always, you can watch along on Hulu or with the new DVDs if you would like. And the first thing I have written in my notes for this episode, Jordan, and I feel like this is your influence on me.
Yeah, let's hear it.
The first thing I have written in my notes, all caps, scam.
Dude, you are awesome, because that's the first word of mine. Mine says scam artists. Absolutely. Absolutely. They are totally full of shit here.
They are the most adorable scam artists. They are so cute in those Shrine Maiden outfits. They're just adorable.
And I love how bad they are at it, too. Like, what we're seeing is all the girls, well, not all of them, but Makoto. Is it only Makoto and Minako?
I think so.
Makoto and Minako are filling in for Ray as Shrine Maidens. There's a big crowd of girls. Makoto is trying to sell them love charms and saying, no matter how many times I have my heart broken, I always find a new boy with this. And Grandpa, Oji-san, is like trying to edit her sales pitch, because he's like, no, you're not supposed to tell them you will be heartbroken if you buy these. You'll never be heartbroken if you get this. So they are just clearly trying to scam these impressionable, love-struck young girls.
Mm-hmm. I'm so proud of you.
And then Minako goes, oh, hey, just bring them back if they don't work. And Grandpa's like, no, we do not offer refunds for our magic charms. It is a whole weird scam going on.
Absolutely, and it always has been. So there. The only reason that they have psychic powers is not because of their superstitions. It's because they are part monster. What?
I mean, you call those superstitions. Most people would call those religion.
Well,
yeah,
that's what they would call it.
That's fine.
Jordan.
You know what? I don't know of anyone of any religion who has superpowers. Only monsters have superpowers. The end.
Either way, like this whole love charm business is 100% Makoto and Minako are trying to scam these children.
Yes.
And Grandpa is a huge scam artist. Now, you may be asking yourself, hey, Makoto and Minako, they're not Shrine Maidens. Ray's a Shrine Maiden. Why isn't Ray trying to bilk these children out of their allowance? Well, it's because Ray is the chairman of the prestigious TA Girls Academy school festival. As we know, Ray does not go to the same school as the Juban Middle School, as Usagi and Ami and Makoto do. She goes to a private school called the TA Girls Academy, and she is in charge of putting together a big festival.
And she is a... How do you describe
She's
this?
a nightmare monster?
That sounds right. She's a perfectionist, micromanager, angry, yelling person, and for some reason, the girls of TA Academy think she is wonderful.
They were referring to her, I was like really convinced that I misheard because they called her Rei Sama. I'm like, she's what? It's a little intense, guys. She's not like your lord. Like, she's just bossy.
They do one of those shots, one of the shots where they have like the person is like freeze framed and everything is shiny and beautiful around them, and like there's bubbles and lens flares. Except it's a shot of her yelling angrily, and they're like,
notice though. I watched this both in the Deep Dub and I watched it subtitled, and I was like, I think a lot of my hatred of Rei is coming from watching the Deep Dub, because man, she is wretched.
She's worse
in
than
the Deep Dub. Like, she's way worse. Like, way worse.
She's still pretty bad in the Japanese. I mean, she's still just yelling at everybody and micromanaging, and they're like, yeah, we don't know what to do. And she's like, I explained it to you already. Yeah, but we don't know what to do. Fine, I'll do it later. I'll do it myself later. And like, and so then she says, frustrated with all these girls, and I don't know if this is a thing that people say, but she says, things are so busy, I would even ask a cat to help out. A very weird thing to say, especially when you are friends with talking cats. Because Usagi shows up and goes, here's a couple of cats you can ask to help. Wah, wah. Dumb.
I like that she just flings the cats.
Yeah, she just throws them.
Usagi just like throws them.
It's weird because I was going to say that I really like, and I don't think that's it. It's not necessarily that I like Rei in this episode, but I really like how this episode takes Rei to her logical conclusion. Like, we know from the past 53 episodes of this show that Rei's kind of a control freak, and Rei is like very, very type A and controlling and wants to be in charge of everything and wants everything to be just so, which is why it kills her that Usagi is the moon pudding.
Yeah.
Like, she cannot deal with it. Like, that Usagi won't just listen to her. That Rei hates not being the leader. And so I really like getting to see Rei as this iron-fisted, like, super controlling leader who needs to micromanage everything around her. And I love that the other students at the TA Academy are like, Rei is awesome. Like, Rei is great because she gets this shit done.
I can't do it. She's so mean. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if you have seen this. There is a Sailor Moon Match 3 game called Sailor Moon Drops that came out recently. And when you play as Rei and you're losing, she gives you this face. This judgmental face. And that's like all I can think of. Like, I'm like, stop. Like, just, I have to like cover it. It just makes me really uncomfortable. Like, I'm sorry I'm letting you down, Rei. I just can't match these stupid gems.
No, I knew that was going to come out. Is it out in English?
No, I used I got a VPN. I used the VPN and downloaded it. Because I have a problem. Like,
if it's out in English, I might give up on Marvel Puzzle Quest and just go straight to Sailor Moon Drop.
Sailor Moon Drop is pretty fun, though. You don't really need it to. You don't need to be able to read Japanese to play it, other than like if you want to watch the cute little 3D characters act out the plot. I just skip it.
Is Jedi in it? Is Zoisite in it?
Yeah. Yes.
Is Maxfield Stanton in it?
Yeah.
Is Masato Senjo in it?
He would probably be in it as Nephrite.
Yeah, he's just there as Nephrite. We don't get any awesome like Maxfield Stanton or anything like that. Or if they did, I probably skipped it.
Yeah. You wouldn't know. You don't watch them.
I only know a little Japanese, so I just skip the cutscenes and just go straight to matching my gyms forever. That's all I do. That game has ruined my life.
I really do like the idea of Rei, like of this being a positive and admirable trait in some situations, where like Rei, we see Rei at least like, yes, she's being mean. Yes, she's being like super controlling, but she is also getting things done. Mm-hmm. And all the other students are looking up to her for instruction. Like, I love it when she's like, "Hey, you need to go do that," and the kids are like, "Rei, we don't know how to do that," and she's like, "Ah."
Well, okay, I'll tell you why I'll be okay with that description, because what that really means is that all the kids who are not needing to be dominated in order to get things done are probably like, you know what? Screw this. I'm not doing this, and left. Because I'm just like, that's not going to help me get things done, having a person be a dickhead to me. Like, I will be like, oh, okay, never mind. I'm leaving.
But I mean, like, also these, like, first of all, these other two girls at her school clearly have huge crushes on Rei.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when Ray yells at them to get back to work, they blush and explode into hearts and say, "Miss Ray spoke to us."
Well,
There's
you know what?
a romantic interest in Ray.
Well, no, I'll tell. I mean, but I can even understand that.
Dominating was a good term.
But I can even understand that as a non-romantic thing too, in the sense that no, there are. You can think someone is really terrific and like look up to them and they are a leader to you and things like that, and like you want to impress them and you want to, it's all those things. I understand that. I'm just saying that she's so mean that I would just be like I have no interest in this kind of abuse. Thank you.
There's there's definitely a difference between being like a leader and just being an asshole, you know? And I think she's kind of leaning more towards the asshole. Sorry,
I don't think you're wrong.
Okay.
Is the thing.
Okay.
But at the very least, I think it's interesting to see Ray in an environment where this behavior is being consistently rewarded.
Mm-hmm.
So at least we know.
That's true.
My favorite part of this is when they're testing out the lighting, and Ray, who is 14, do not forget that Ray is 14, says, "Why are you lighting it like this? This isn't a cabaret." And the 12-year-old girls who are operating the lighting rig go, "Ray, we don't know what a cabaret is. I don't know how to not light it like a cabaret because I don't know what that is."
Let me point out, Usagi really does just come to be friendly. Like, I don't think she's there to. I mean, obviously she made a little joke that Ray gets slightly aggravated by, but she just came by to be
Do you like that Usagi is wearing a cat on each shoulder?
Oh, absolutely.
It's adorable.
That's the best. But yeah, she just comes by to be friends, and same. So did Amy, and Amy goes, "Yeah, by the way, Makoto made you some snacks. Here you go." And they're just there to hang out and be friends. And then they so they say, "Can we just hang out and watch you rehearse?" She's like, "Yeah." That's when the cabaret thing happens. And she's about to sing the first of her 2 songs that we hear her singing. She stops because of the terrible lighting.
Yes.
It's so unprofessional, she can't go on.
And again, like, we get a scene where Usagi goes, "Hey, that's a really pretty song.
Yes.
Like, who wrote that?" And Ray goes, "Oh, I wrote that song. It's one of mine." And Amy goes, "It kind of seems like this whole school festival is just an excuse for you to sing your songs."
Well, actually,
and kind of get yourself." And Ray goes, "Yeah, that is exactly what I'm doing. Why do you think I'm doing it?" Like,
you left out a detail. She doesn't say, "Yeah, I wrote that song." She says, "Yeah, I wrote all the songs for this thing."
Yes.
Every single song, which they react to very shockingly, and a lot of penguins fly by. I don't understand what that means.
I don't know.
Ray just goes, yeah, idiot. Like, of course this thing only exists to serve me. That's why I'm doing it. Like, I love how upfront she is.
Yeah, why would I do this otherwise?
Like, the Ray that we don't like the Ray that we have seen and been kind of like really frustrated with at the depths of us not liking Ray, I think it was because she was a deceiver. She was a liar. She was trying to, trick people. In this, I like that she has like gotten past that, because I like Ray just being completely upfront with it. Like, yeah, of course I'm in charge. I get to do everything. It's for me. The school festival is for me.
I think you're giving her a little bit benefit of the doubt that I don't necessarily want to give her, in the sense that, yeah, she's saying that now because she is in charge of everything and no one can stop her. Like, yes. I don't know that she was this honest when she was saying, "Hey, I'd love to be the manager of this thing so that I can make myself the most popular girl at school and name myself queen."
I don't know. I think it works for her character in a way that other scenes with her character have not worked.
Mm-hmm.
If Ray has to be a jerk, Ray being an upfront, brutally honest, like tyrant jerk, I think is better than Ray being a backstabbing friend.
Sure.
Oh, definitely. Like, I would much rather have a friend that's, just rude to my face. Like, and I mean, no, I'm serious. Like, I mean, that's fine. I actually think that is fine. I, in a way, almost sympathize with her about the being sort of self-serving, because it's like, well, if you're going to put this much work into it, you may as well get something out of it, right? I know that Ray has said before, that she wants to be a singer, or she wants to be an idol. Like, that's some of the stuff that she is.
She wants to be Japan's most famous idol / priestess.
Yes.
Right.
That's a lot of dreams here.
Well, okay. cut outside the festival. Rehearsal.
Meanwhile, in a nearby tree.
Yes, out in a tree, Alan and Anne are watching, going, "Oh, there's a lot of energy bustling around here. Let's drain this shit."
Let's go to this other school.
Now, that rubbed me the wrong way, too, because I was like, what a coincidence. But I decided that my headcanon to fix that was, obviously, Alan was stalking Usagi some more. And when she went here, I went, okay. And then Anne caught up to him and went, "What are you doing here?" And he was like, "I'm here for the energy, obviously."
He like licks his lips when he says there's like so much energy. It made me so uncomfortable. Like it made my skin crawl.
Pretty gross.
Ugh.
All of the scouts are really super stoked about Ray being in charge of the school festival and everything. And we get another scene that I really like, because like the Spotlight episodes are always really interesting. They're not always good, but they are always really interesting. And I love that we get this scene because, like, you know, I think it's Minako is like, "Oh, it's so, like, I can't believe you wrote all those songs yourself." And Ray's like, "Yeah, the lyrics didn't take long and the music was super easy." But we see her, like, a flashback to her, like, in her room with just piles and piles of like trash paper that she is like throwing out lyrics, and like her working really hard trying to write the music, and then just trying to, you know, getting so frustrated with herself in the flashback as she's saying to her friends, it was super easy. I didn't struggle with it. It all just came to me. Like, the inspiration was very easy. That Ray is hiding that even from her friends says a lot about her character that I think makes her more sympathetic. Like, she's being a huge jerk about it because she's like, "Yeah, guys, it's called talent." And meanwhile, like, we're seeing in the flashbacks where she's like bashing like the keyboard as she's trying to write because she's so frustrated. I mean, which is what writing is like.
I guess it's sympathetic. It's kind of sad. Like, it's like, God, do you not have any like friends that you trust?
Yeah, it really is. Ray's defining characteristic, and we've seen this even in the finale of season 1. Like, Ray's defining characteristic is that she won't let other people in. Mm-hmm. Like, she always has to be perfect, which I think is really relatable. That, you know, you can never, like, everything always has to be perfect for Ray. And so she can't even admit that she worked hard to do something good. Yeah,
and I feel like that this scene is the first time I've ever actually legitimately related to Ray, where I felt sympathy for her. And I know what it's like, you know, when you've worked on something, but you don't want to tell people how much you struggled. You want them to think that you actually have a talent, you know, or that it's effortless. It's no big deal. You know, it's no big deal. And you don't want to sound like you're bragging too. I think in a way, by trying to brush it off, it's like, oh, I put all this work in it. It was just so much. Just like, oh, it's no big deal. It's fine.
Yeah. Especially because when you look at the people that she's with a person with an IQ of 300 who still studies all the time. Mm-hmm. Who is, you know, the number one non-psychic test taker in Japan, you know. And her other friend is a friend who is constantly talking about how hard, like, Usagi is always complaining about having to work hard and always, you know, struggling with everything, but she's still the Moon Princess. Like, she still gets everything kind of not handed to her, obviously, but, you know, Usagi is all struggle, like all visible struggle, and is rewarded for it. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, like, you know, like Minako and Makoto less so, but, you know, of those original three, like, Ray is the one who constantly has to present herself as being perfect. And I think that's like, it's her tragedy in a way. And I think that's really like getting to see that from her perspective and the contrast of the reality with what she's telling even her closest friends is, I think, really like revealing and sympathetic about Ray.
Mm-hmm.
You're very nice. You're very generous. I mean, I sympathetic. Well, again, I think of it more as like, it is tragic and it is sad, but it also makes me be like, geez, you can't even be honest with your friends. Like, that's sad for you, but I don't know. She's a jerk.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think maybe I have revealed something about myself today, and you have not, Jordan.
So
the next day at the school festival, Grandpa is trying to mac on teens.
No, he's trying to hire them for his temple so he can lech on them.
Yes.
Yes. He tries to hire pretty girls constantly. Amy is... Oh,
in
go
the
ahead.
original Japanese audio, in the subtitles at least, he's like, "Hey, girls, why don't you come work at my shrine?" And the girls are like, "Oh, hey, sorry, but our school doesn't let us have part-time jobs. Bye." And Grandpa says, "Oh, I'm just no match for these girls these days." In the new dub, the Viz dub, what he says is, "I got to work on my technique. Otherwise, I'm just going to creep these girls out." Which I like that somebody was like, "Oh, hey, we should acknowledge this."
Right.
That makes it sound like he's not being a creep.
Yeah, well, I don't think they want to present him as a creep.
But he is a creep. Come on.
No, he completely is a creep.
Like that's like they're backpedaling and going, no, he would never do that. He is doing that.
Yes, he is absolutely doing that. But at least somebody was like, "Hey, can we maybe add a line so Grandpa's not so creepy?"
That sounds like a Deke dub kind of thing to do, which I didn't think they did that sort of thing anymore.
And the next scene, Jordan, are you ready?
Yes,
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
The next scene, we see Makoto, Minako, and Usagi walking into the school festival.
I love the
Oh yes,
I
and
love the cats' faces.
Yeah, they're
Why
freaking
are
out
their
for no
faces
reason.
like that though? Like what is like Artemis especially looks like he is wigging out.
I mean, the question is, why did they bring the cats?
Because they always bring the cats. And they wear
look
them
like
as
how
accessories.
actual cats, like this, they look like how actual cats would react to being taken to a festival, like just being around all that. Like, but they're around people all the time. Why do they look so freaked out?
Their eyes are enormous. And again, they have like no bones in their body because they're like draped over
I
them.
love that stuff.
It's the
So,
best.
Jordan, what does Usagi love most in the world?
Oh gosh. Eating, sleeping, and
Yes,
taking the
yes.
easy way out.
Eating, number one. It's the thing she loves most in the world. So Usagi walks in asking, "Where's the food? Where's the takoyaki? Where's the yakisoba? Where's the curry rice?"
Sure.
And Makoto goes, "Where's Amy?" Because what does Makoto love most in the world, Jordan?
Cooking.
No, Amy. She loves Amy the most in the world.
And whereas Amy, the thing Amy loves most is research papers. And that's
Is math books.
she is off at a research presentation, which there's a research presentation going on at the festival? Really?
It is a school festival, I guess.
Oh, yes.
It's like science clubs or something.
It's like the person giving the presentation and Amy.
Now, can we talk a little bit about school festivals?
Sure.
Okay, well, this is a thing that I see in anime and I see it in manga. You know, it's all over Azumanga Daioh. It's all over Yotsuba. It's all in, obviously it's here in Sailor Moon. But like these school festivals where each class will like do a thing, like they'll make a little cafe or they'll have like puzzles or something. Is that real? Like, is that a thing they do at schools in Japan?
I mean, it must be.
Actually, yeah, like I mean, it has to come from somewhere, but that's something I actually have no idea.
I would love it if someone would write in and tell us if like these school festivals are as elaborate as they are presented in anime and manga, or if it's like a thing where on every sitcom, there's always a school musical that is a huge deal that has an unlimited budget.
We'll get to that episode.
Yes. Interestingly, we see Minako be really bad at golfing,
I thought that was really cute.
which kind of shoots down the theory that Minako's special power is super athleticism.
Well, there's skill to golfing, isn't there?
Yeah, there's like definitely skill, but is it in the same vein as like being able to do backflips?
No, I don't think so. Chris, they're the same
We
thing.
There's some episodes that go back to the athleticism in S where she plays a lot of volleyball. There's like lots of flips, and so maybe she like forgot it for a while and it's earned her athleticism back.
Now, Makoto wins a cake baking contest. Makes sense. What is this game show that Amy and Ray are on?
It says it's a thing for like matching couples because the DVDs have translations for all the signs. So we see Minako's with the golf club. According to the sign, Amy and Ray are at feeling couple 10 and 10. So I guess they not match? I guess they don't match.
No, okay. It looks to me like what, and I have it paused here. So there's a giant heart with a red side and a blue side. For Amy's, the blue side is going, for Ray's the red side. But there's also guys in front of them. So I think that's what is happening here is the guy is saying, I don't like Amy. And the other guy is saying, I like Ray. And Ray is like, no, I don't like this. That's what I think is happening.
Well, The guy in front of Amy has the embarrassment sweat drop, though.
Oh, so you think maybe Amy is judging him?
So is it like, I think?
But then
because
why would
Amy
Ray
and
be so
are the
freaked
ones
out?
holding? Well, I think it's showing that Ray likes the guy and that Amy doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Like, so Amy doesn't like this guy because Ray and Amy are the ones holding the little pulse measuring things. So
it's measuring
Amy's
their pulses?
I mean, that's how love testers work, right?
I didn't know. I've never experienced a love tester. I have no idea.
I don't know if it's like, I think there's some that maybe measure the heat of your hand.
Yeah. It's
So, okay, so it's saying, okay, that makes sense to me now. So it's saying Amy doesn't like this guy, and he's going, oh. And
Amy
for Ray,
doesn't like this boy or any boys.
and it's saying Ray has a crush on this boy, and she's like, what?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
I think that is what's going on there. Meanwhile, in a nearby tree again.
Under the tree now.
Yeah.
Under a blue ominous tree.
Yes, this establishing shot is great because everything's like green and like brightly colored, and there's this literal like one circle of gray shadow where Alan and Anne are just standing watching everything.
And this is where the
Seijiro and
episode
Natsumi.
gets crazy. They get ambushed by a couple of girls who are like, they're perfect. And they take their measurements, and they're both like, what? What are you doing? What? And they go, yes, we're the fashion club, and we want to dress you up like aliens from outer space. At which point they go, how did they know our secret? What sort of powers do they have that they can tell we are aliens from outer space? And the girls go, you look all freaked out. You don't really believe in aliens, do you? And they're like, wah, wah. And so then they're like, sure, dress us up like stupid looking aliens.
Which is big talk from residents of the Juban district.
Right?
Which is big talk from people who are like, yeah, remember at Tokyo Disney when everybody went into a coma? Remember when all those buses started flying around? Remember when that giant floating head appeared above the city and threatened to set everything on fire if Sailor Moon didn't come fight him?
Sure. I remember that.
Aiden and I were watching The Flash the other day. And
It's worse all the time.
well, we were watching the Jay Garrick episode where he shows up and everybody, like, no one will believe that he's the Flash from another Earth, right?
So dumb. Yes.
And Aiden was like, look, if I was on this show, you could tell me anything. And I'd be like, yep, sounds good, because I got struck by lightning and now I have superpowers.
Right.
Like, yo, you're me from another dimension? Cool, let's move on.
That
Let's
was
go.
the episode that made me say online, like, I can't believe how dumb these characters are for considering that they're supposed to all be geniuses. They should all be getting this shit real quick.
No one on this show should say, oh, you don't really believe in aliens. You'd be like, yeah, aliens. And when they take them and dress them up, they should be dressed like Boxy and Titus and,
Sure.
like local billionaire and doll enthusiast Maxfield Stanton.
He's not an alien.
Local pet store owner Jed Ite.
Oh, man. So then there's an announcement, in which the announcer... Now, in the Deke announcement, it is Ray making this announcement. It's not in the Japanese, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I'll be honest, I have trouble sometimes distinguishing the voices without, like, seeing whose mouth is moving. So
If you give me a second, I'll listen to it.
okay.
Oh, the reactions that Alan and Anne have to being asked if they believe in aliens are great because Anne gets real salty about it. It's pretty
Sure.
great.
Mm-hmm.
No, it is not Ray making the announcement. It is someone else announcing that Ray is about to perform.
Okay.
I'm
And
just gonna say the cat faces are still really like, what is wrong with them this episode?
Oh yeah, they're still really silly. But then again, the announcer actually says Ray's the queen calls her Queen Ray, like Queen of the TA Academy, and everyone is like, "What? She's the queen? What is going on?"
And
I
then
agree.
in her only line of the episode, Luna smarts off and gets punched in the head.
Well, she has a couple lines there.
We watched this one as we watched the Deke dub first, and then I went back and watched it in Japanese, and they cut out her getting punched in the head.
Yes.
And so I was like, what happened to Luna's head? Because I just saw this giant
Yes.
knot.
All of a sudden, she just has a giant lump.
Because you don't want kids seeing their hero punch animals in the head.
Yeah, probably smart. Don't punch your cats, kids. Sailor Moon says.
So we cut back to Alan and Anne dressed as space aliens in outfits that are no more or less ridiculous than what they actually wear.
They are slightly more ridiculous.
Well, okay, Alan has a picture of a spaceship on his chest like it's a Ben Cooper Halloween costume. And he is wearing
Noticed that before.
pantaloons.
Now,
but other than that, like they like by the standards of Yoma, they are not at all ridiculous.
Now, here's another complete swap of meaning between the Japanese and the Deke dub. When they throw them out on stage in Japanese, they go, oh, everybody laughs at them and claps and goes, I feel sorry for this year's sacrifices, meaning this is like a prank or everybody's laughing at their expense. And Alan and Ann don't realize that they're laughing at their expense and they're going, look, they love us. In the Deke dub, they legitimately love them. And I don't know why. Like they say something like, wow, there's some fashion I'd buy off the rack or something like that. Like I was like, what?
Yeah, something weird like that.
Like why are you saying this looks cool? This does not look cool.
We also see them in a couple of different outfits. And Jordan.
Yes.
I don't want to blow up your spot or anything, but people already know this. You, in your real life, are the editor of Marvel Star Wars comics.
That's true.
And there is a great shot of Anne with a lightsaber.
Totally.
And
we're suing.
And Alan dressed as a kind of
Space?
half Darth Vader, half Shredder from Ninja Turtles, half Prince Valiant.
Okay, I didn't see the Darth Vader connection, but now that you say it, yeah, I can see. It's just not
He's
in
got
black.
That weird helmet.
Yeah. Just like white instead.
So when are you going to incorporate these designs into the comics? Like when are these two characters going to show up? When are Natsumi and Seijiro?
How do you know this isn't the basis of the entire Darth Vader series? That's all.
Oh, okay.
We'll get there. Chris, I don't want to blow things up, but in your real life, you are a famous squid merchant, correct?
Yes. I was the inspiration for Splatoon.
Because then all of a sudden they're dressed as squids.
Yes. And to be fair, they're very elegant squid costumes.
That is not a word I would put in a squid costume. It's not like a cocktail party squid outfit.
I feel like if you took the weird hat off of Natsumi's, off of Anne's,
Yeah,
like
maybe add some like
it's just like
some sequins.
It's a red Morticia Adams dress, basically.
Sure.
It really kind of is. The hat is what makes it ridiculous.
And meanwhile, everybody's like, ha ha ha, what ridiculous costumes. And they're like, energy is great. We're gonna suck the energy out of all these assholes.
Yeah, they're like, we're really building them up nice for when we take them down. So then their portion of it is over. Next, thank you for your generous applause. Next, we present a recital by Rei Hino. She brings out her giant musical score, and again she starts her song. Now, we didn't talk about it yet. Now, there are two songs in this episode, both in the Japanese and in the English. In the English version, this first song that she does is the up-tempo number. It is called, I believe the name of the song is Call My Name and I'll Be There. It is a rip-off of the Friends theme song. If you'd like, I can call up a sample of it. It's up to you.
Please, because I only have the new version available to me.
Call my name.
Although I actually do have the CD soundtrack, so I guess I could just pop that in later.
Here we go.
I never realized this until now.
There are days when those gray skies make you blue. Each forward step you take, you fall back by two. You've been hit by some hard knocks you just can't stand. Feeling like Alice felt in Wonderland. Let me be the one to lend a hand. Call my name and I'll be there. There's nothing like the laughter that we share. Whenever you need someone or a shoulder to lean on, call my name and I'll be there.
Yeah. So there you go.
Amazing.
Yep.
Delightful.
Absolutely. Friends theme song. rip-off.
Fantastic.
Good times. So now, so what that actually means is we can decide how generous we want to be towards Rei. Are we going to say the creators of the show ripped off the Friends theme song, or are we going to say that Rei, the character, ripped off the Friends theme song? Good question. What do you think?
I'm going to say the creator of the show. I'm going to give Rei a little credit. Like, we saw her working so hard, and I don't think that it's just like, I don't think she was just like
take it away from her.
I don't think she was just like scrapping lyrics and then like turned on Friends and was like, oh, okay, this is it. This is what we're doing.
Oh, well. Usagi is super impressed by this. She yells out, Ray, you're so cool.
Such a supportive friend.
Yeah.
Such a.
Yeah, she actually, I mean, like, despite all their, differences, she actually does, love her friends and want them to do well. So there you are. The Cardians the Cardian they call forth, meanwhile, is called Siren, also known.
Oh, really? How do you know it's called Siren?
Well,
like, does it ever say its name?
No, they say it like a
Does it
million
ever
times.
say its name 80 times?
Yeah, it constantly is yelling out Siren.
Yes.
The English version is called Amphibia,
Okay.
and here's the thing about that: she's an airfish. Like,
Right,
she's a
right.
fish lady, but she swims in the air. She does not swim in the water. Is that a thing now? You could just be like, yeah, it's like they accidentally summoned Goldeen, and for some reason it worked in the air.
Jordan, just fluid dynamics, bro.
Okay.
Can its fluid dynamics, bro, be the name of this episode?
Maybe.
It's, you know how airplanes work. It's all the same.
Yeah, she doesn't have
literally
a jet
exactly the same.
engine strapped to her tail. Also, then, in keeping with the complete aquatic nature of her powers, she sprinkles gold dust on everyone and makes them fall asleep.
Right, of course. Right. Makes perfect sense to me.
Everything makes sense. Not even a little confused.
Couldn't you have a character named Siren use her voice to put everyone to sleep?
Also,
That's
much
what
like
you'd
a
expect from a music episode.
Right, right.
much like a siren, she then starts attacking people with her hair.
Yes, super Medusa hair for no reason whatsoever. Thankfully, the Sailor Scouts transform.
Yeah, because they are not put to sleep for some reason.
They hid under the chairs. Luna was like, or Luna or Artemis, one of the two of them was like, don't let that gold dust hit you. I don't know where we got that insight. I mean, I guess that insight comes from the fact that a monster is sprinkling gold dust. It's probably
Yeah,
for
like
the worst.
maybe a little bit of common sense.
Here's something I just thought of.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Why don't Luna and Artemis have the same accent?
Because
They're from the moon.
they're from different
Right?
parts of the moon.
Yeah, different moon regions.
So is Luna affecting an accent this entire time?
No, never.
Is
no
Artemis
way.
affecting a Canadian accent this entire time?
More believable, but no, probably not. You know, some people they spend a lot of time in a place and they actually lose their accent, and Luna didn't. What are you going to do?
What do you think Sailor V is from Canada?
Because I mean, Sailor V was the one that, I don't know, lived in Britain.
Yeah.
Not for that long, just a little while.
Just a little while.
I don't have an answer for you on this one. She's from Luna. Because nope, I got nothing.
See,
Luna's high class and
never thought
Artemis
about
is
that.
low class.
I had never thought about that until you just spoke in your very clearly your Artemis
Yes.
voice. And I was like, well, if it was Luna, we would have done the accent. And then and then I realized, wait a second, they are both cats from the moon.
They're from different parts of the moon. That's the only explanation I can have. And we're going to get about 50 tweets going, do you want me to explain the Luna and Artemis voice
Yes.
thing? It's a spoiler.
Yes, explain it. I want you to explain it to me. So, Siren attacks Ray, and
She's
then
caught
some
up in
other
its
stuff
hair.
happens.
I think it's
Sailor
draining.
Mercury-
Well, no, it's funny because she's draining her energy. She's draining Ray's energy, but she says it hurts, which it's not usually portrayed as hurting. But there you go.
Sailor Mercury apparently decides that unleashing the full power of bubble spray would be far too dangerous.
What?
Like, she does not use bubble spray freezing. Not
Oh,
wanting
bubble
to
spray
devastate
freezing.
this
Right.
auditorium.
Right. Well, she
Instead,
combines
only
it.
uses the supremely destructive power of regular bubble spray.
Well, no, because we get Supreme Bubble Thunder Spray.
Oh, do they combine?
Well, I don't know if
Hey,
the effect combines, but okay, all right. I see where this is.
Hey.
It does combine, actually. It does. It does combine.
Hey, real quick, Christy, what is the name of Sailor Jupiter's attack? Do you know?
Do I know?
Yeah, do you know the name of the attack? Could you maybe shout the name of the attack real quick?
Now, you wanting like the Deke Dove attack name? Or are you
Sure.
wanting like a Supreme Thunder? What is it in the Dove? I forgot.
It's Jupiter
Thunder
Thunder.
Jupiter Thunder Crash. Yeah, Jupiter Thunder Crash.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Could you maybe say that one more time?
You gotta let it go.
No. Well, when will we ever have this opportunity again?
You will have. I promise you. I'm going to send you a clip that will. It's I do Jupiter Oak Evolution in it,
Nice.
and it's really bad. It is incredibly bad. So But it's like so bad that it transcends bad back into being good.
Well, in this one, she doesn't use that. In this one, we have, like I said, Supreme Bubble Thunder Spray, and a combination of bubbles and lightning tears Siren's hair in half so that Ray can be freed. But that potent combination of bubbles and lightning that we constantly fear. They're always like, don't blow bubbles in a lightning storm. Like, the lightning will become twice as powerful. It will be terrible.
That's true. That's science.
So what's something that's interesting about this episode to me? This particular art director, what's their name? Masahiro Ando, is like super into panty shots.
Yes.
Like unnecessary.
Oh, really? We
shots.
hadn't noticed.
Yes, but there haven't been any of this episode, and I'm just like, I'm shocked. Like, I haven't seen a one. I was actually purposely looking, and there was like a lot of opportunity, but like there was restraint this time.
I think there might be one right here where Ray is lying on the floor.
Yeah, I was like, is that just...
It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell.
She's got well, Ray is wearing her performance costume.
Oh, there we go. Nope, there's one. Sorry. Record ruined. It wasn't the like, this art director, when I think of Ando, I just think of like round faces, panty shots, and cankles. Like they don't have ankles when they're wearing their boots, and it's weird.
And he also does the giant Luna ears, giant cat ears, right?
Yes, yeah, the bad ears.
I like that we have someone on here who knows who is responsible for these things that we notice. Because we have talked about Luna's out of control Astro Boy ears.
I love it. Like, I actually really like Ando's art in general. Like, I like the cartoony style, and I love the big ears. They're really expressive.
Yes.
And they're kind of ridiculous looking.
Yeah, I am a fan. I am a fan, as we've talked about before. Ray gets super upset that her performance was interrupted. Not that all of the other children in her school are in danger of being killed by a monster, but just that they can no longer hear her beautiful performance.
And all of her friends are being attacked and have passed out. It's like, that doesn't matter. None of that matters.
Yeah. She uses her phrase, "I'll chastise you."
Love it.
In the name of Mars, I'll chastise you. Nice. But then she almost faints.
Well, she uses Fire Soul, and it sets Siren's hair on fire and burns all of her hair off, which is great, which is fantastic, because we very rarely see the effects of the attacks, right? The logical consequences of these attacks. Nobody who gets hit with Supreme Thunder ever like gets electrocuted. They just get stunned and then get turned to dust by a tiara or moon healing or whatever. But like for the rest of her appearance, like Siren is walking around with like singed off hair, which I think is great.
But then Ray says something really stupid.
And I say walk around because she's walking around on her flippers.
She is doing that. Then Ray says something really stupid, because again, what happened was every single Sailor Scout was being strangled by hair and getting their energy drained. She set the hair on fire, freed them all, and at least inconvenienced the monster, if not hurt it. And she goes, Fire Soul didn't do anything. And it was like, it did a bunch of shit. It didn't kill the monster, but you pretty much never kill the monster. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, it killed the monster like as much as every other time you've used this.
It had no effect. And then Sailor Moon says it's hopeless, unfortunately.
Yeah, Sailor Moon real quick to give up in this episode.
Well, it's a Ray episode. She's like, whatever. And no, she would never do that. Thankfully, you know who hasn't given up?
Ugh.
This is the worst entrance ever. Ever.
Yes, I wrote down, the thing that I wrote down was Moonlight Knight has weird Windham Hill poetry.
What he says is,
some music from the hearts of space going on.
In a corner of the silent expanse of the universe, there is a planet that plays a lovely melody. That planet is Earth.
And you see a picture of the Milky Way galaxy as the backdrop to this white rose.
Now, keep that quote in mind. But and I also wrote down, Moonlight Knight, will make you pay. And he pulls out his sword. Come on, Chris. You got to love that. He's got a sword, and he's like, I'm going to make you pay. I mean, he doesn't, but...
I mean, at least it's something pointy. It's not just a rose or a cane.
Yes.
Oh, there was something that I missed earlier that I wanted to bring up real quick. It's a callback to an earlier episode. When Alan and Anne are on stage in their costumes, someone in the crowd says, "Look at Mr. Cool Guy up there."
Nice.
And in the subtitles it is spelled as cool-guy.
Nice.
So we know what a cool guy is now.
Nice.
Okay, so anyway, yes, back to this dork.
So he's saving the day a little bit, or at least helping. And then the monster smashes the music stand and all of the music goes flying. At which point we go, is that your only copy, you fucking idiots?
That's exactly what I said. I said, Ray, get a copy machine.
Because she's like devastated that her music is gone. And also, come on, who's playing the music? Doesn't somebody else have a copy? There's gotta be. No. She's having this trauma because all of her music has been thrown to the wind.
It's symbolic. You jerks.
Man, you're really like Ray. She must be like your favorite scout.
You know what?
She must be your new girlfriend.
You're banned. You're banned. Banned. I just stamped it.
Banned on the run. So she says unforgivable. She freaks out, and again, tapping into her inner rage, she develops a new superpower.
Yes. Which in Japanese is called Fire Soul Bird, which is not a great not a great name.
No.
Like it's in English it's Phoenix something, right?
Not in the old one. Was it? I don't remember that. I can't remember what it was
I think it was still something. I think it was just like Mars Fire Bird. I'm pretty sure it was.
Or like Mars Fire Strike or something.
Mars Fire Bird Strike or something stupid like that. I didn't write it down, but I don't remember it being anything. But I was like, well, that was cool.
What it does is it makes a bird out of fire, and that fire bird slashes open the monster's stomach.
Well, because
and energy
the really thing I like
out.
about it. The thing I really like about it, though, is that it's a combination attack because she uses the Ofuda, and then when the fire goes through the Ofuda, it becomes a bird, which is it's probably the coolest looking attack that anyone has so far.
So far,
like I like Supreme Thunder a lot, and I like Crescent Beam a lot, but the fire hits the magic scroll and then turns into a bird that like screams as it comes at you. Like that shit's awesome. That is off the chain.
So the energy comes pouring out of its gut.
Ice works against the sun monster, so fire works against the water monster.
Right. Dumb. Yeah. Dumb. But you're right. Yeah, that they really did go the wrong way on all those. And as we discussed last episode, the energy flies out of the monster and back into the Sailor Scouts, and they jump up and go, hey, here we are. And then Sailor Moon does her final attack, and the monster...
The harpsichord swells.
Yes. And the monster is refreshed to death.
Refreshed to death.
Not that refreshing. And then Moonlight Knight says, I gotta head out. See you later. Now here's the thing. Again, I wanna mention you guys said you wanted to give the credit to rather give the blame for stealing that song to the makers of the show rather than to Sailor Mars, but she's not above stealing a line, apparently.
Yeah, just blatantly plagiarizing Moonlight Knight. No problem.
Yeah,
no
exactly.
problems there.
She just
entire audience who got attacked by a monster and then thought, it's okay. I'm just going to get up and watch the concert. Nothing happened. Everything's fine.
They all woke up and it was okay. And then she tells them the line about the planet again. That planet is Earth. And everybody's like, wow, she's super deep. And it's like, nope, she stole that shit, dude. And then she sings a song. Now, again, I don't really know I don't know what the Japanese song is about because oddly enough, they don't translate it on Hulu. She's just singing in Japanese and we just don't get to understand it. But what
was up with that?
Yeah, I don't know. Very unusual. Did they translate it for you, Chris?
Yeah, the song lyrics.
Yeah, they don't translate it on Hulu.
Yeah, they actually mostly when they sing a song, like they do with the theme song, where they just talk about thought circuits. Obviously it doesn't rhyme in English, but they do kind of clean it up a little bit, and the voice actress does sing it in English in this version.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yes.
I remember I used to be really into the show Slayers, and there's an episode where they sing a song in Japanese, or they sing a song, and so instead of dubbing the song, they just dubbed it in of the character going in Japanese, and then they just played the song
in Japanese. Awesome. awesome. In the Deke dub, they replaced this with the song Starry Night. Now, this is actually really strange because one of a few, this is the first time I've ever noticed, Starry Night musically is very similar to the Japanese song, almost identical. But apparently, I've seen online, it says the lyrics are very different. Oh, Starry Night, she's singing about being in love with a guy who will save her from fears and yeah, whatever. Cute song. I will probably record it, fingers crossed, for the end of the episode. So throw my hat over the wall. Yay.
So the song goes well. Everybody likes it. They go and sit and they have a bonfire. And Usagi tells Rei, like, hey, I know you worked really hard. Like, I know this was not effortless for you. You worked really hard. And Rei goes, haha, well, I could teach you a thing or two about working hard. And then I'm right back to hating her.
Like in the Deke dub, she said that maybe she shouldn't be a lazy donut snorting couch potato.
Yes. Yes, she does. Donut snorting.
That's great. That's fantastic. And that is the end of the episode. And I feel like we learned a lot.
Very much so.
And I assume that we were supposed to learn a lesson from this. Do we have a Sailor Moon Says from the Deke version, Jordan?
We sure do.
I am so excited to learn about time management or delegating responsibility. One of the many lessons that we could learn from the events of this episode. So please share with us.
Rei sure had a lot of confidence standing up on that stage singing her songs in front of all those people, but not everyone is that confident. For some people, speaking up in front of classmates or even their friends can be really uncomfortable, but there's nothing wrong with being shy. If you know someone like that, encourage them, ask them what they think, and give them time to answer. They need your support. And if you're shy, know you're not the only one. The world needs all kinds of people, including shy people. Sailor Moon says.
All right, fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Mostly fair. Mostly relevant.
I mean, that's not the moral of that episode. It is not.
Okay, well, now you know what? Good. You get to share your own moral now, Jordan. That's how we do this and how we have been doing this for the last 52 episodes. But first, we will talk to Christy. Christy, what did you learn from this episode?
I learned that if I am too much of a leader, then everyone's just going to think I'm a jerk. So it's really bringing down that stereotype of women shouldn't be bossy. So thanks, Rei. Thanks for giving us all a bad name.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say something similar. I was going to say what I learned was kind of slightly the same, slightly the opposite, which was that all you really need to do is find the right people who like that you just demean them all the time and tell them to everything that they should do. And then you'll be all set.
Try Craigslist. Try Craigslist for that one. Kids, ask your parents.
No, do not.
I learned that if your pet is doing something that you don't like, it is totally okay to just punch it in the head as hard as you can. Be like your hero, Sailor Moon, everybody.
Just
Sailor
punch
Moon
your cat. Right in the face.
So yeah, I think this is, since the first couple of episodes, this is probably my favorite of the Doomtree saga. Like, it's kind of the best of the Spotlight episodes, right? Like the best kind of Spotlight episode where we do get a reveal of something about the character that kind of recontextualizes what she's done in the past. Rei as a control freak is a lot easier to take than Rei as someone who is just a huge jerk to her friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Rei who has responsibilities is a little bit easier to take. So, and I like that about this one. I think it's interesting, and I think it's fun.
Yeah, it's a fun episode. I have a good time with it. I'm not as generous towards Rei as Chris is, oddly enough, but yeah, it's still interesting and fun to watch, and it's very revealing about her character. This is the episode when I mean, all the earlier episodes when we were talking about Rei and what she's like this is the episode that that comes to mind when you go, but what's her real goal and what's she really all about? The thing is, I just don't think it's super great that what she's really all about is making herself look good at everyone else's expense. So there you go.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to deny there was some character development here. I just maybe wish that she was a different character.
Yeah, like she's still a jerk, and they do the thing where they are like really, you know, like they get her right back to where she was. Like they have like a nice sweet moment at the end, and then again, you know, in the original Japanese, she doesn't call her a donut snorting couch potato, but she does say like, "Hey, I'm going to teach you a thing or two about not being awful."
Oh, Rei.
Interesting thing about this episode that I just found out while checking out to see if Fire Soul Bird was a for real thing. Naoko Takeuchi worked as a shrine maiden in college.
Huh.
And was frequently hit on and based Sailor Mars on that experience.
Interesting.
And the Hikawa Shrine is real. It is one of there are real life Hikawa shrines, and one of them is in Juban, in the real Juban, Japan. So we should take a vacation together, Jordan.
Okay. To the shrine?
Yeah.
But even you've decided that it's a scam, Chris.
No, I want a bit. Like,
I'm kidding.
pretty trees are not a scam.
That's true.
Nature is not a scam.
Well, from a certain point of view.
How is nature? Like, you know what?
let's not do this. Good times. Also, you know what? The trivia of this episode pointed out something to me which I didn't realize either, which is that the Moonlight Knight says he wanted to listen to Sailor Mars' beautiful singing voice one more time, which clues us in that he knows her secret identity, and nobody noticed.
And no one cared.
Nobody noticed or cared. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't notice at all.
I noticed it. I just forgot to say something. But
Pretty
yeah,
funny.
who cares, Moonlight Knight? Who cares?
Well, he's this new character that's like not Darien at all. So, you know, it's interesting. We'll see what
And
happens.
he has theme music that actually, like, Tuxedo Mask, his theme music comes on and I kind of groan. Moonlight Knight, I just bust up laughing and I can't stop until it stops. So
It's not very good.
at least he brings me a little joy.
His music is not so good. Oh, well.
It's
Moonlight Knight.
amazing.
Well, yeah, I like this episode, but hopefully we've got, how many more do we have in the
Let's see.
Doom Tree Saga? We've got 1, 2, 3. I think we got 4 left, right? Because there's only 4 more Guardians.
No, 6. At least 6.
Oof.
Yeah, 60 is the new season. So we're on what, 54? So yes.
What I think is sad is I actually prefer this storyline to the next one.
Oh, so do we.
So that's just,
Well,
I'm like, I viewed watching Sailor Moon R as like a slog. Like, here we go. We gotta get through it.
I like the villains. I like the Dark Moon Clan. I really actually like Dark Lady a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, like it's gonna be a rough year for Sailor business.
Mm-hmm. Then you get to some really good ones. You just have to like look at the light at the end of the tunnel, and the end of the tunnel is S. You just have to get there.
So excited. So very excited. So that brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Before we let you go, Christy, can you tell us where everybody can find